Pleasant good morning to you. My name is Jessie Leonce, and joined in by my colleague, Mr. Carlton Cyril, for the start of this week's COVID-19 coverage here in Saint Lucia. Today, another installment of the COVID-19 response report, live from the Information Command Center on NTN from the GIS studios. We have more updates for you this morning. Nothing yet coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. We know the latest update was that we had a new case confirmed last week, bringing our total number of confirmed cases here in St. Lucia to 19. One active case being treated right now and responding well to the treatment. We will hopefully get an update from the Ministry of Health and Wellness in that regard. That individual, Carlton, a 33-year-old female returning from working on the cruise ship, being placed into immediate institutional quarantine, thus reinforcing the importance of being placed into institutional quarantine as soon as you get onto the island to protect the population at large.
Merci tellement, Jessie. Encore ça, c'est côté nous a dit bonjour, merci à son lundi bon matin. Headquarters COVID-19 qu'on nous a ba information développement et puis COVID n'importe ça qui nous pour faire et puis COVID jodia c'est le 8 juin, le 8. Et puis là, quand la coutume nous a dit bonjour, bah on a écouté nous sur radio. Bonjour pour vous qui est sur Facebook, qui avez nous sur NTN, expressément pour ces jeunes nous l'autre pays. Toujours un plaisir. Comme ça, nous avons nous courant avec tout ça qui a fait des affaires COVID. Yon qui a touché la terre, yon qui a touché yon secteur ben l'autre. Ici nous avons information et développement. Quand on bien ça, semaine passée nous l'autre cas, ça a mené pour 19 quand les gens qui ont trouvé qu'ils testé positif, là ils viennent pour affaires Covid là. Et encore, il y en a ces bagages là qui bien important. Ici, il y a qui sorti qui a travaillé sur ces bâtiments. Ici, il y a qui travaille bâtiments qui entouré. Merci Dieu, merci papa. Il était allé en quarantaine quoi. Il était ça massé, il était ça ni en isolation. Quoi, bonne nouvelle là, il vient pour ça. Et ça n'est qu'à aller pour dire nous, même si nous toujours qu'à dire ici, nous peut-être pas ni pièce cas pour l'air, mais ça pas veut dire la panne Covid. Ça pas veut dire nous pas qu'à venir en contacter ben yon moun ban l'autre parce que ça bonne cas ouvert et tout le monde veut ça quitte un bagage qui vie normal. Et ben c'est ça nous gagne pour agir et puis elle est venue pour ça parmi l'autre développement. Quoi nous va continuer ba ou tous ces développements avec information qu'on uni pour faire puis Covid. Merci tellement et restez en écoute quand nous continuer ba ou information avec développement headquarters COVID ici à Studio GIS NTN.
Thanks for that, Carlton. Just to go through quickly the updates we have for this morning for you. The prices of diesel and LPG cylinders decrease. We're also going to go over another installment, another edition of the COVID-19 Roadmap to Recovery panel discussion series, and it was the last one was held last night live on NTN. Investment and Business Opportunities Part 1. That was the theme, and speaking to engaged by Alyssa Joseph, the moderator, was Ms. Margaret Daisy, the president of the St. Lucia Manufacturers Association, Mr. Roderick Cherry, CEO of Invest St. Lucia, Ms. Sabina Valmont, the founding president of the Southern Business Association, and Ms. Barbara Innocent Charles, the director of Small Business Development Center. And just speaking on investment and business opportunities in the wake of COVID-19, we will be giving you a snippet of that. Also, we invite you to take a look at the panel discussion in its entirety after the program. We also will be hearing, just getting a clip from the NCOPT, the National Council of Public Transportation, giving us a new update on the seating arrangements and capacity that is now allowed for public buses in St. Lucia. The government of St. Lucia, the Honorable Prime Minister and the Honorable Alan Shasney issues congratulations to Team Unity in St. Kitts and Nevis as they retain power in that country. Also, we have an update. We did speak to the Bankers Association of St. Lucia on Friday, Carlton. Yes. We will be going back to that to just give persons an understanding of the moratorium assessment, the number of individuals who have taken advantage of the moratorium as established by the government of St. Lucia through the social stabilization plan. We saw 92 St. Lucians and a Dominican seasonal agricultural workers who were Canada-bound successfully processed at the Yurnara International Airport. And we will be having these details and these updates for you in just a moment. But first, we go to our first break for the morning. Stay tuned. We have a packed program.
Virus ready to harm us. Panic is not the answer. We can win this together.
Often use hand sanitizer. Better yet, use soap and water.
We must protect each other if we are to beat this corona.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for Saint Lucia. Together let us win this war. A soldier, together we can beat this corona.
So you don't become the next case. Avoid touching your face. I'm sure you've been told so. Handshakes and hugging are up. No, no.
Advice is you the please. Cover your mouth and your nose if you cough or sneeze.
Practice social distancing and avoid large social gatherings.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for Saint Lucia. Together let us win this war. Saint Lucia, be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
For further information, please contact the hotline at 311 or the Bureau of Health Education at 468-5349.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. Today, the prices of diesel and LPG cylinders decrease in keeping with changes in international oil prices and government's application of the modified market pass-through petroleum pricing mechanism. The retail price of diesel, LPG 20, 22 and 100-pound cylinders has changed. The retail price of gasoline and kerosene remains unchanged. The price changes take effect from today, Monday, June 8th. The price of gasoline remains unchanged at $2.53 per litre or $11.50 per gallon. Kerosene remains unchanged at $1.50 per litre or $7.15 per gallon. The price of diesel decreased from $2.62 to $2.30 per litre or $11.92 to $10.44 per gallon. The 20-pound cylinder decreased from $26.19 per cylinder. The 22-pound cylinder decreased from $28.80 to $28.40 per cylinder, and the 100-pound cylinder decreased from $147.71 to $144.05 per cylinder. The public is informed that the next adjustment of the retail price of fuel products will be on Monday, June 29th. We now go to the panel discussion that was aired live on NTN last night from the Information Command Center. The COVID-19 Roadmap to Recovery series of panel discussions last night touched on investment and business opportunity. This is the first part of this insight into investment and business opportunities. Moderator Lisa Joseph spoke to the president of the Saint Lucia Manufacturers Association, the CEO of Invest Saint Lucia, the founding president of the Southern Business Association, and the director of a Small Business Development Center. And part of this discussion was, how do manufacturers continue in this new environment, local manufacturers that is, this environment that COVID-19 has created? How do they respond to the restrictions emerging from the global pandemic? I just pulled out a snippet from Ms. Margaret Daisy, president of the Saint Lucia Manufacturers Association, speaking on this, this new frontier, I should say.
With all the trade barriers that the U.S. has sanctioned on China, it is also an opportunity for us in Saint Lucia as manufacturers and as business owners and as young people to invest in manufacturing. There was a long time ago, you remember, we used to have all these Bell Fashion factory in Dennery, and a lot of the international things that were being done and manufactured right here in Saint Lucia. The government has already made a commitment through the plans to support local businesses that they will give us what is required, whether it be warehouse spacing, whether it be concession, the similar opportunities that are there for foreign investors to come in, it is also there for locals to get. And that is very important, and we need to remember that. But we need to have that entrepreneurial spirit. We need to be able to decide that we're going to sell our way through the crisis and not just sit back and wait until the government do everything for us. We need to do something for ourselves to be able to sell ourselves through the crisis and then win towards the end. In terms of competition, what will differentiate us is the way we push our product. I will give you some examples. Some of our manufacturers, not all of us had the luxury of having to produce a lot more because we did not have the essential, not all of us produce essential services. So for those manufacturers who produce order goods and services, what we did, we tried, as soon as the markets started opening, we started changing our sales strategy, not just sit back and wait for customers to come and buy. Go out there and sell to customers. And these things can create more growth opportunity for your business so you can expand and invest in more and different opportunities for manufacturing. And I urge all Saint Lucians to be creative, be innovative, find ways we can start to manufacture gloves, all sorts of medication. We do it right here in Barbados, which is part of the Caribbean. So there's nothing that Saint Lucians should not be able to do if we don't make up, if we decide that we want to do it. And that's what I urge. And we have the support from Invest Saint Lucia, and the government has promised that we get the backing, not just promised by words, but by the action.
That was Ms. Margaret Daisy, President of the Saint Lucia Manufacturers Association, speaking on what manufacturers can do at this time in wake of COVID-19 and also dealing with the restrictions that have been applying globally. How do they maneuver and try to continue to provide for this local population as well as exporting as well. So that coming from the Investment and Business Opportunities Part 1 panel discussion as part of the series of the COVID-19 Roadmap to Recovery panel here on NTN. We continue this morning with an update on the water emergency. We heard from the Honorable Prime Minister from his social media platforms that the government of Saint Lucia is making a significant investment to increase the dam's capacity to help improve the water supply. Now, these works, he indicates, are long overdue. The ticklish truth about this massive project, just reading from the statement from the Honorable Prime Minister's Facebook page, the truth about this massive project ongoing at the dam is the fact that the desilting process is heavily dependent on rainfall levels. Too little or too much rain at this point can stall and prevent the progress of this major rehabilitation project. The lack of rain has allowed, fortunately, it's the silver lining, we should say, has allowed the desilting bin to be cleared at the dam to receive the sediment, and the extraction equipment has been deployed. And now we wait the rains to replenish the reservoir to start sustainably dredging. The Honorable Prime Minister would like to remind St. Lucians to please continue being mindful of this ongoing water crisis and to remember that we are doing everything in our power to bring relief to communities who experience water challenges every day. This water project that is ongoing at the dam, like those that have been completed in communities such as Hill 20, Debara, Tiroche, Miku, Denry North and Canaries, is part of the government's vision to significantly improve the nation's water supply, its capacity, distribution and resilience. So that word there coming from the Office of the Prime Minister. Monday, May 18, the water emergency was declared due to abnormally low levels of rainfall over the last few weeks. And the Honorable Prime Minister, stating his sensitivity and understanding to the situation, said that he knows that there are households that have had to endure dry pipes for days on end, and the ongoing rationing system is causing major disruption to daily lives. As we've been seeing, Carlton and myself have been talking about it, the production team, many persons are being affected island-wide by this situation. Unfortunately, we are experiencing drought conditions, the water emergency declared, and it's been said to be the worst in 50 years. So on top of that, we have the dam situation heavily silted with tons of sediment reducing, the reservoir's capacity by 30%. So the efforts are ongoing to reduce that as much as possible and to ensure that we can get back to some normalcy in short order. Just want to continue with some more important updates today, effective today, and that's word coming from the National Council of Public Transport. We're hearing from, we had an interview with the first Vice President, Mr. Kentry Frederick, as well as Mr. Spency McPhee, trustee of the council, speaking on the new arrangements for public transport, and that being 10 individuals can now board the bus. There is a level of flexibility. If you are a family waiting for transport, you can all sit on the same seat together, but 10, and of course this level of flexibility, it is hoped to not be abused by operators and commuters as well. We have a clip from Mr. Kentry Frederick, first Vice President of the Council, speaking on the decision to allow families to sit together on the buses.
We were so concerned about reducing the spread of COVID. We went from 14, 15 to 10 to 7, and we are back up the line. But we made an error in terms of the capacity. For example, if your capacity was 7, you have 4 persons on board. So, for example, your back seat, you have 1, 2, and 1 at the front, and 1 somewhere. Now you come up to a junction, a family of 5. These people live in the same household. They eat, they breathe, they walk together. How do you isolate these people just because they're going on a minibus? Which means for that instant, the 5 that you have on board and your family of 4 will be 9 persons on board. Because these persons live together. But in the haste, not the haste, with the caution we had, we overlooked that aspect of
oversight.
Yeah. Right. So we're saying we made an error in that regard, and it applies as we speak. Because, for example, if you have 9 right now, 8 right now, you come with a family of 4 or 5. It is a ticklish situation. How do you separate these people from one another? They live in the same household. Yeah. So there are instances where you will find the capacity is above the 9 or the 10 or the 7, simply because these are persons from the same household.
That was Mr. Kentry Frederick there, acknowledging that there was some oversight in terms of allowing families from the get-go to sit on the same seat on the buses. But it has been after the meeting that was held they had with the Department of Transport, it was agreed that this would make sense. So as of today, 10 persons per bus, of course, a level of flexibility provided for families. So if you're a family of 4 or 5, you can all sit on the same seat together on the public transport. Of course, we're also hoping that this is not abused, where in cases you find a packed bus and explanations being given that they're all family. We need to continue to abide by the protocols. Let's not try to create any shortcuts to compromise the effort, the national effort that is underway to stave off COVID-19. So please take note of that. In addition, Mr. Frederick and Mr. McPhee did also speak to us on Saturday about the relief that will be given to drivers that is being discussed right now to be given to drivers who were adversely affected due to the COVID-19 crisis. We know earlier on bus drivers 2H, 3F, they were not able to work for up to 13 weeks. And so just letting you know, the government of Saint Lucia, in collaboration with the NCOPT, you have not forgotten. You are being considered. And we also know the cost that is associated to running transport, public transport in Saint Lucia. So these individuals are being considered, and according to the NCOPT First Vice President, he did indicate that pronouncements would be made in short order as to how this relief would pan out for these affected operators. Also, strict adherence to the protocols, wearing of the mask before you get on the bus. Some people, they get off the bus and they go into the bank and they wear the mask going into the bank. They go back, they get out, they take off the mask, they get on a bus and they go to another location and they put on the mask. But it's also important to know that you must wear your mask while on the transport as well. If any other place, you come into close proximity with individuals, yes, there are measures being put in place for space in terms of the seating and whatnot, but you're still in close proximity with individuals. And sort of like a closed space, Carlton, and so you need to still adhere to the rules and regulations as it pertains to the wearing of the masks, the 6-foot distance, so individuals standing by the bus stands, and so on. Please take that in mind. Also, the windows being open, so no air conditioning. I'm not sure how that will pan out with the hurricane season coming and the heavy rains, but as much as possible, having the windows open for fresh air to circulate within the vehicle. So that word there coming from the First Vice President of the National Council of Public Transportation during our interview on Saturday. Carlton?
Thanks so much, Jesse. Quand nous continuer par le développement avec information, quand commencer aujourd'hui avant nous parler sur ça, Jesse Yannick mais sur nous premier vice président là venu pour constituer qui est responsable pour ces associations, monsieur Fedric a parlé sur commencer aujourd'hui à capacité là venu pour ces minibus là c'est transport yo ça chaye 10 moun à présent et nous parler ba yo dans une interview nous tenir puis yo sur programme samedi là yo ban nous chaye information parmi yo comme je dis qu'a commencé jeudi à le 8 juin ou kaywe ces minibus là ka chaye 10 moun et ben yo permis pour chaye 10 moun mais en compagnie de yo ou kaywe kay ni plus passer 10 yon ces bagay là monsieur Frederick bien dit yo te fan là ouais là vini pour ka considérer à de les yon famille qui sont en même kay lan ka wete manger boire ensemble yo sa batche et transport avec acide sous yon site dans minibus là à de là ou kaywe peut-être la te hani 7 la tehani 7 la tehani 8 mais si chauffeur il ça permettait yon famille qui ni 3 moun et ben yo 2 yo 4 si yo ça sida sur même site là dedans bus là ça pas un problème mais yon dans ces bagages là il fait bien clair yo pas vle chauffeur prend l'avantage de ça pour yon machine qui passer yon dans ces minibus là qui passer il bien plein et puis pour aider tout le monde qui a boy c'est famille yo bien fait il fait mentionner de ça et yon a ces bagages là il aussi dit c'est là vini pour monde qui a cassé loi monde qui pas veut suivre protocole parce que on savent tout ça qu'a fait as a résultat des affaires Covid et dit pour ces monde qui pas veut suivre JID qui jabay par ministre responsable pour santé qu'a sorti head office CMOA yo même kay agir puis c'est monde ça yo kay yo ha voué commission pour dire c'est président ces association souple fait assurer les autres point garde ces moun ça qui a cassé loi et parce que yo kay fait assurer yo mener et puis yo deal et puis yo qu'on a trouvé qu'on informer là vini pour ces driver qui pas qu'à suivre protocole là yo jamais des date qui panique dit ça mais mettez dans lettre et puis adresser pour yo. En parmi l'autre bagay yo fait bien clair là yo parler ben nous samedi ou kay savent monsieur Fedric ensemble avec monsieur Fag qui c'est yon c'est trustee et puis association yo ja fait bien clair yo ka mandé gouvernement pour travailler puis parce que yo affecté mais yo ka dit en même voix c'est faux c'est chauffeur avec ces mettre minibus là payer attention pour avertissement puis protocole en parmi yo mas là yo ka dit avant batche bus ou obligé mettre masou ou pas supposé battre bus là sans masque chauffeur aussi supposé ni masque et encore nous ka dit jodi parmi l'autre bagaille là ka battre bus fait assurer ou sanitize la main fait assurer après la main si bus là même pas ba on va pour sanitize ou supposé ni ça tout en dans info pour nous double si mais bien pêcher vermine ça si mais encore vini jodi au minibus driver car c'est bus là ka chaye 10 moun et puis si la nan famille qui sont en même caille si la moun ka en même caille même relation ou ça ouais plus passer 10 à délai 12 et ben 13 trouver qu'on informé quand continuer par information ici bon matin là vini pour diesel et puis c'est tant gas là nous ka yo baisser en bas priya qui yo ka visiter tous les 3 semaines eh ben commencer jodia parmi bagay qui baissé c'est diesel c'est titan 20 livres 22 livres et 100 livres là vini pour prix c'est bail ça gasoline et puis kérosine qui a été même prix yo pas changé qui veut dire ou kay gasoline il a été $11 et demi pour un gallon et ben $2.53 par litre et ben koukaïwe levini pour kérosine $7.15 pour un gallon levini pour diesel qui trouvé quoi baissé avant de kawé 1 litre diesel c'était $2.30 et ben excusez-moi c'était $2.62 à présent il y a $2.30 levini pour par gallon kawé ou te capé $11.92 en gallon à présent il descend pour $10.44 encore moi dit ça pour diesel diesel ou te capé $11.92 par gallon à présent il paye $10.44 là il vient pour ce petit tank là on va servir pour truite manger ce petit tank 20 livres là ou il paye $25.82 pour ces petits tanks 22 livres excusez-moi ou kaywe ou te capé 28.80 après on paye 28.40 là vini pour tank 100 livres c'est gros tank là ça y est ou te capé $147 et check après on paye $144 4 go dessous trouver quoi informer quoi ça veut dire c'est simplement diesel et puis c'est tank là yo ka servi pour tout manger c'est petit tank 20 livres 22 livres et 100 livres là qui trouver quoi à baisser qu'on a trouvé quoi informer comment c'est depuis hodia ou ka un changement en prix les vini pour ça Ka continuer ici à mais c'est au cas ça vous te ouais plus bon à nous jouer en cho et puis ça ka sorti hot yo madame ça c'est Margaret Daisy c'est lui qui président là il vient pour ces gens qui a produit bien avec service en Saint Lucia c'est président association ça et au cas ça commencer dimanche là qui passé là au cas où ce programme ça ici à sous NTN GIS côté yo ka bay moun qui a ni investissement yo moun qui en business qui ni opportunité ça au cas où yo ka discuter et c'est affaire ça quoi hier nous teni Mademoiselle Margaret Daisy comme dit c'est lui qui président là venu pour association qui est responsable pour monde qui a produit bien service ici nous teni aussi monsieur Roderick Sherry c'est lui qui tête investment CEO investment Saint Lucia Mademoiselle Lisa Daisy c'est lui qui a conduit affaire nous te aussi ni Mademoiselle Barbara Innocent Charles c'est lui qui est directeur T Business Saint Lucie tout ça en dans info monsieur pour bay moun jid parmi bagay nous tan Mademoiselle Margaret Daisy et parler qui dit quoi ces business a trouvé quoi yo affecté par Covid parmi bagay qui fait en chaque business qui te produit yon bagay trouvé quoi dans l'autre et puis yon dans ces bagay là encourager même nèg moun qui doit aller en business panique acide like expecter moun pour venir autour ou ni pour rien manière pour aller outil ses clients et faire assurer ou même panique acide là mais au bail quoi gamme et ou sort dehors ou mettez produit ou là pour moun ça ouais il dit c'est yon bagay gouvernement a permettre pour aider yo qui bien content discussion qui a venu les ni pour faire et puis ça parler dit un l'autre mot qui Jesse a touché les vini pour damna ou kay changer vini le 18 mai nous te trouvé quoi nous dans situation côté en état de soukou le gouvernement te a dit ça bien bonnet date qui nous avons trouvé qu'on est dans situation côté les vini pour capacité d'amna il trouvé quoi à plus près 30% en glo ici posé ni. La Premier ministre puis monsieur honorable Ezekiel, ministre responsable pour agriculture parmi l'autre bagay, yo visité dame nan. Et yon nan se bagay lan Premier ministre nan yo mette sur page Facebook li. C'est pour faire moun sav yo la ka travail et yo ka espé la pli parce que yo ka bien sav pour yo pétiller sablan et terre qui en dedans dame nan la yo besoin gloire en même chose là yo te besoin faire chimère car on nan ba yon petit temps pour faire ça quand yo ka espérer à présent la pli vie commencer bagay ka vie primaire et puis normal. Yo aussi aller plus loin pour dire yo ka mande simplicité pour ni patience et puis yo ou ka savent là venir pour projet qui a fini en communauté con Hill 20 débarras la tio chimico Denry Nord et puis Canary. Tout ça, c'est en vision un gouvernement là vini pour éprouver situation glonou et capacité et résilience là vini pour ça qu'on a trouvé corps informé. En parmi ces développements, monsieur nous ka ba oui qu'on nous ni information expressément là pour faire et puis COVID-19 ici à headquarters COVID-19 à son lundi bon matin le 8 juin.
Thanks for that, Carlton. We're just seeing a note on our social media platform, our Facebook Live from Selma, and she's saying, good morning. One observation, not everyone traveling on buses are wearing their masks. She did indicate that some bus drivers aren't wearing their masks also. So if it is mandatory, strict measures need to be undertaken to ensure that it is done. Thank you. Thank you very much for that observation, Selma. We did hear from the NCOPT executives during our interview on Saturday indicating that there will be monitoring almost coming onto the bus and pretending to be a normal patron of the bus, but also while monitoring to ensure that everyone is adhering. The bus operators will be policed. They are being watched closely by the NCOPT as well as law enforcement to ensure that they adhere to the rules and regulations as it pertains to their specific sector in terms of the protocols for their sector. We heard from the NCOPT about the 10 individuals, the 10 per bus increase. Also the flexibility being afforded to bus drivers to have families sit on a bus, on a seat together, but we hope that is not abused. We hope that everyone, including the operators, wear their masks. We also heard from the first Vice President, Mr. Frederick, that if perchance a bus driver has asthma or cannot cover their face for one reason or another, for some legitimate reason, that perhaps that bus driver needs to consider staying off the roads at this time. Because again, it is all a national effort from all the sectors to ensure that we can keep COVID-19 at bay. We can keep stave off COVID-19 altogether. We did have a new case, and thankfully that individual was coming from abroad. That person was placed immediately into institutional quarantine before test results came back, and we were able to isolate that individual before they went out into the community. But we are not sure of what is festering. We know that there was community spread of COVID-19, and we need to ensure that we keep everyone safe from it. You may be that person who, for some reason or another, just cannot take on a mask, and either you are passing on COVID-19 to someone else, or you are getting it from someone else. So we want everyone to take all of the necessary precautions. We are still under a state of emergency, and that does not mean that state of emergency, things are locked down altogether. We are also working as well to reopen our society, to get business going again, but doing things as safely as possible, aligning ourselves and adhering to the protocols that have been outlined by the authorities. And speaking of which, we saw the reopening of our borders last week, and there was a successful processing of up to 92 outbound passengers. We have the details to that story and more coming up after this break. Stay tuned. Thank you so very much for staying tuned. If you're just joining us, residents in St. Lucia and St. Lucians living in the diaspora, today is another installment, another episode of our COVID-19 response report for this morning, Monday, 8th June 2020. We continue to remain on alert for COVID-19. We're not on a 24-hour lockdown. We're not under stringent measures, but we still need to be vigilant to this pandemic, this threat that is looming over every country of the world right now. Last week, St. Lucia reopened its borders and we saw a total of 92 outbound passengers being successfully processed at the UNR International Airport. That was Thursday, 5th June, and they were en route to Canada for employment on the Seasonal Agricultural Workers Program. They included 26 St. Lucians and 66 Dominicans who will be employed on 9 farms for a maximum of 2 years. The Dominicans arrived via Port Castries, where they were greeted by the Customs and Port Health authorities before being screened and processed in keeping with the public health protocols. All passengers were further screened before departing St. Lucia via a charter flight and will remain quarantined in Canada for 14 days. 14 days, a similar quarantine system put in place in Canada, as with St. Lucia and many other countries. They will be in quarantine before commencing their employment in Canada. Thursday's mission was a collaborative effort of many agencies, including the Labour Department, the Customs and Immigration, St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, the Minibus Associations, and the OECS Commission through its Eastern Caribbean Liaison Service. So 92 passengers bound for North America successfully being processed at the UNR International Airport. We want to continue with the work that is ongoing with St. Lucia reopening reopening society, reopening its economy, and as again we do the trade-off between lives and livelihoods, we want to go back to an interview that we had with the St. Lucia Bankers Association. Mrs. Carol Mangal as well as Mr. Medford Francis, executives of the St. Lucia Bankers Association, spoke with us on Friday, speaking on, giving us an assessment of the banks and the moratoriums that have been offered, the individuals that have called in to ask for moratoriums during this time, as promised by the Honorable Prime Minister as part of the Social Stabilization Plan and mobilized by the banks. St. Lucia's economy continues to open. We have the new operational procedures due to COVID-19, and banks throughout the island have implemented a number of protocols as per the advice of the Ministry of Health and Wellness. If you've been to a bank lately, you would know that you cannot get in without a mask. You would realize that you're being given hand sanitizer or to rub your hands with, and the social distancing, the physical distancing is being enforced. The president of the St. Lucia Bankers Association, that's Mrs. Mangal, she explained that banks have been engaging clients so far in terms of providing the moratoriums, in terms of addressing individuals who have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, those who've lost their jobs for this 3 to 6 month period dependent on the bank. And the bank does not charge any late fees. That's important to note during this moratorium period. The president did provide us with some figures for the moratoriums granted so far. Take a listen.
Some of the banks are still in the process of crunching their figures.
Okay.
I did get some statistics from 4 of the organizations. I will not give the names, but just to give you an idea. So those 4 organizations to date, they had processed 3,994 requests for moratoriums, and that total 942 million EC dollars.
And as was mentioned on Friday, moratoriums have a significant impact. I know there was rationale going behind, this part of the social stabilization plan of the Honorable Prime Minister in terms of it providing economic relief to those who are no longer able to return to work at this time or earn an income, as well as businesses that have been hard hit by the onset of this pandemic. We have the Vice President of the St. Lucia Bankers Association, Mr. Medford Francis, is a corporate banker as well, explaining that the moratorium frees up income for use in more pressing areas such as ensuring individuals and businesses are able to implement measures to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, also preparing for the hurricane season. It almost seems as if COVID-19 is eclipsing the hurricane season, but that is another situation from June 1st that we have to contend with. The Vice President did indicate that, however, the implications of these moratoriums do exist, and we need to be cognizant of them. Listen.
The fact that we are granting these moratoriums, it means that the bank is foregoing, at least for the period of time that the moratorium is granted, a cash inflow, in that the loan repayments would no longer be coming in for at least 6 months. Okay, we know that for a fact. So this is a stream of liquidity that the banks would normally have at its disposal that will no longer come to them. So that is significant in terms of even our ability to issue more loans. Just going back to basics, a bank is in the business of taking deposits and issuing loans, and based on guidelines that are set by the central bank, the ECCB, we are, from a prudent perspective, for every dollar of deposits that we receive, we really should not be lending more than 75 to 80 cents of that dollar. Okay, we need to maintain that buffer of about 15 to 25 cents for liquidity purposes.
That was the Vice President of the Saint Lucia Bankers Association, Medford Francis, speaking on the implications of the moratoriums that have been given out to individuals and businesses at this time. The President of the Saint Lucia Bankers Association, going back to Mrs. Mangal, she did have some advice for the public during these very trying times, and she urged individuals to utilize fruits and vegetables that are readily available as part of their diet, save on utilities by conserving water and turning off the lights earlier, and resorting to cheaper brands when shopping, just to name a few. Take a listen.
Right now, the focus is survival using the very little means that we have. So we need to do things differently with those funds. I think one of the best things I would advise is people need to sit with their family and do what they call a budget with the little amount that. So if it's $1,500 you're getting from the NIC, you have to make that the $1,500 go a long way. So when you do your budget, another thing you need to do is speak to your children, especially those who can understand. I know as parents, everybody has their children home. I'm sure everybody will see their children out in the fridge constantly, looking for things to eat. We need to let them know that really and truly, things are a little difficult right now, and we want them to bear with us. Obviously, it will come to an end, but for now, we cannot afford all the luxuries that we did prior to this.
That was Mrs. Carol Mangal just giving us some practical advice during these very trying times. And there are individuals who have not lost their jobs, Carlton, but we don't know what's coming, you know, and if you are getting your full income, it's important to just stash a little bit away, you know. We don't know what is going to happen. Will COVID-19 come back in a big wave and affect many more individuals and businesses than it has done in this first instance? We need to be prepared for any eventuality. We also have the hurricane season starting last week. We need to be prepared. We're hearing that we will be having a uniquely more active hurricane season than usual, so we need to start putting away, you know, Carlton, I'm not sure if you're like me, but I put away my cricks and I hide my little tin of tuna and sausages away, you know, just in case. You never know if stores will be closed, what might happen. But that word there coming from Mrs. Mangal, and of course individuals who are in need of a moratorium are asked to contact their banks at the soonest possible time. There are some banks that may be giving it immediately, just automatically, but there are some financial institutions you will have to call in and not just expect that they will not take or not withdraw the monies from your account to be paid toward your loan. I know there was an individual last week telling me that, you know, they were really hoping for the moratorium and were just expecting the moratorium without having to call, and the money was deducted from their account, you know. So do call if you want the moratorium. Do call to make your case to your financial institution. Carlton?
Bon conseil là, Jesse là vini pour vous qui ni l'on et puis c'est institution financière là, on savent nous attend parler de moratorium avec nous teni ces gens hot secteur financier là, nous teni maze Carol Mangal c'est lui qui président association banque Saint Lucia ensemble et puis Medford Francis c'est lui qui vice président qui était ici à Caban nous conseil nous demander des questions en chay matière financière parmi eux ou kay savent là vini pour parole moratorium ça ou attend quand souvent ça veut dire l'ONU ne vini pour payer l'ONU yo ka ba un petit soulagement pour 3 pour 6 mois dépendait mais ça qui bien important yo ka offre situation ça à côté yo pas kay expecter ou ka payer yo ka aller parler ba yo fait yo ça pour 3 mois ça ou pas kay ça payer mais ça pas veut dire pas ni pour payer pièce ou kay ni pour payer après 3 mois mais ou kay ba enfant pas kay une personne ka couyo et ben embêté ou mais ça qui bien important ça yo dit nous c'est différentes banques né différentes situations manière yo ka agir puis ça fait moratorium non mais ou ni pour contacter banque si vous sentez ou besoin un petit soulagement si vous sentez ou besoin les pour expiration les venir pour ces dépenses là ou ça outil banque là c'est ou ni en loan et puis dit yo mandé yo qui manye bagay lan ka travail et yo kay ba explanation pour ça en parmi bagay qui discuter ou kay savent Maze Mangal dit nous à peu près plus passé 3000 presque 4000 moun j'ai fait application pour ça fait moratorium ça et puis yo jaba yoy et ça ka coûté banque là à peu près 9 millions dollars que choy quand ka ouais ça y est vous a fait moratorium là là nous parler ba yo Jesse Maze vice président monsieur Francis qui manière moratorium ça a affecté banque là et y en a ces bagages là il fait bien clair c'est changer c'est l'argent sec moun ka payer tous les mois et là yo pas joindre l'argent ça changer business banque là c'est pour bail moun loan à sous l'argent yo j'ai amassé mon ni calculer yo pas amassé 9 millions dollars que choy et ou même brisant loan c'est côté yo ka joindre l'argent ça quand y en a qui ka mouché exemple banque là même ka trouver quoi affecté en yon manière et ben en l'autre en parmi bagay qui parler les vini pour discussion financière là en dans temps wed qu'on nous garder à présent chay moun pas savent si yo ka hen travail yo vié et qui ça qui kay fait Maze Mangal teni yon des conseils il te ka bay moun jide qui te ka di moun en parmi bagay où ça fait il dit priorité fait assis ou savent qui ça qui priorité il dit on n'est pas aller dépenser l'argent qu'on pas savent qui bill ka payer avant et ben coûter l'autre l'argent qui a sorti et donc en parmi bagay ou supposé faire c'est budget mettez ti kaka dans sous côté dit ou dépenser des sous la 4 $, 20 $ là fait assis ou dans budget pour semaine pour moi parce que adele hot de pas ka travail adele yon moun ka travail quoi nous pas jamais savent Covid là ja affecté en chay moun qui dit lan ka côté tous les deux c'est moun qui ka travail là a trouvé quoi yo affecté merci bon Dieu l'ani ti assistance dans hot na ici l'ani moratorium na en parmi bagay moun ça mais il dit là où joindre l'argent ça panique dépenser à cause de la pandémie il dit fait assurer ou fait un budget et donc ni mamay parler ba c'est mamay là aussi fait yo savent l'année dépense l'année l'argent qui a dépensé puis la pan travail quoi yo ni pour considérer ça fait ouvert fermer fridge ça fait ni boire juice qui était half là manger n'importe bagay non fait yo dit ça qui ni comprendre fait yo savent ça ka aller et puis agir et puis ça bilou il te parlé à sous ça aussi parmi l'autre bail dit qui manière ça baisser à sous bill utilité qui glow moins glow fermer citerne qui vini pour bill courant mettre light off bonnet et puis ou après action courant tout ça il dit ça assisto et qui aller plus loin pour dire nous ça ouais côté ou ça planter un petit jardin ni petit jardin quoi on pas ni pour acheter ces bagages ça c'est un l'argent ou ka sauver aussi. Et yon nan se ba lan touché dernièrement il dit là vini pour l'autre monde qui pas ka travail changer messieurs nous like nous toutes c'est yon famille et puis et sous ça aider voisinage aider parce que ou pas jamais savent côté ou même kay trouver quoi demain quoi tous ces conseils ça sorti dans programme nous de vendredi côté nous de demander c'est secteur financial là et ça nous de parler by Mademoiselle Carol Mangal président association Banque Saint Lucia vice président monsieur Medford Francis Cabano explanation quand il répondre ces questions mon ka mandé.
Thanks for that.
Continue, Jesse, moi bon fini. Là vini pour ces gens ou ça nouvelle bonne et puis l'année bonne nouvelle tout ça qui a fait là bonne nouvelle moi même content ou apporter à tout ça nous avons 92 moun voyager sorti Saint Lucie à sous les vini pour aller travailler là Canada les vini pour ou kay savent yoni projet ça côté moun kay travaille Canada là la tenir parmi yo 66 dominicains et 26 Saint-Lucien et bien yo quitté pays jeudi puis ça c'est pas vieux fort Euronora c'est moun ça voyager c'est Jean-Dominique là yo vinn ici par rapport et puis la télé moun qui assisté yo département bureau qui est responsable pour santé nous teni SLASPA qui est responsable pour ces poids département travail et puis c'est police là tout vinn ensemble pour faire si yo coordonner ça mais bonne nouvelle là c'est parmi tout ça qui a fait là nous voyons des moun qui a des soupers enfin kay manger un bagay. Yon nan se bagay lan qui bien important c'est les yo arrivé Canada, yo kay ni pour faire 14 jours quarantine qui bien important savent nous même ni policy ça quand chaque monde ka questionner mais nous te hawe comme moi dit ici il ka travail parce que yo nan se travailler bâtiment c'est qu'on rend yo vinn savent il testé positif c'est as a résultat de li ka été en quarantine quand tout ça ka aller monsieur Adele la canabel déclaré qu'on nous a dit bonne nouvelle parmi toutes vieilles nouvelles nous ka attendre nous ka souhaiter yo et puis famille yo tout ça qui bon matin. Yes.
Thanks for that. And just to let you know, Saint Lucia is open for business. Our borders have been reopened as of last week. We saw that individuals were being processed. So we're testing out the facilities that have been put in place to ensure health and safety at the airports. And the borders are open. Our air travel is now possible to and from Saint Lucia. We know that there are some logistics issues in terms of the different airlines, and they too working out their own issues in terms of legalities and protocols, still ironing out their issues, both international and regional airlines at this time. But Saint Lucia is open for air travel right now. We're also having our economy back up and running. Businesses are back open, and we do hope that in your going out and coming in, as with the very first day that we were alerted to COVID-19, the very first day of the state of emergency, we do hope that you use every precaution to ensure that you keep yourself and your family safe from COVID-19. It continues to be a threat. It continues to be a situation where we need to be very vigilant, and we need to ensure that our population is protected as much as possible. The reality is, Carlton, that we very well maybe have to having to contend with more cases of COVID-19. That's as we try to trade off between lives and livelihoods here on island. It is not something unique to us. The rest of the world, other territories, trying to get their economies back up and going. Notice that it is a global competition right now, and Saint Lucia is doing its best to give us a good footing as the world recovers from COVID-19 and settles into a new normal. When we come back, we do for a final break. We round off our COVID-19 news with not so much COVID, but I think it is inspiring at this time that we've had this very wonderful news coming out of the health sector. Saint Lucia neurosurgeon performs complex brain surgery at the Owen King EU Hospital. So stay tuned for the details of that development and as we wrap up for the morning. Stay tuned.
As part of government's social stabilization plan to assist persons who have lost their means of earning due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the government of Saint Lucia has implemented the Income Support Program, where non-contributors to the NIC shall receive a monthly payment of $500 for the next 3 months. Taxi drivers, jet ski operators, vendors, agro-processors, tour guides, hairdressers, barbers, small bar and restaurant operators, construction workers, and other sole traders who meet the criteria can apply using the Government of St. Lucia's website www.govt.lc. Payments will be made directly via electronic transfer to the recipient's bank account. The Income Support Program, simple strides towards recovery.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. And we round off this morning's COVID-19 response report with very good news coming out of the health sector. Saint Lucia neurosurgeon performs complex brain surgery at the Owen King EU Hospital. Recently, there was a team of neurosurgeons racing against the clock to save the life of a 55-year-old Saint Lucian male patient at the Owen King EU Hospital, and this patient was the unfortunate victim of a tragic motor vehicular accident that placed him in a coma. He sustained severe injuries to the head, spine and chest, with the head injuries being the most life-threatening. St. Lucian neurosurgeon Dr. Kirby Sidney led the team in a 4-hour-long surgery. He explained that the blows to the head caused life-threatening swelling to the brain, as well as bleeding in and out of the brain, in and on the brain, which was confirmed by the CT scan images. At a microscopic level, Dr. Sidney indicated that millions and sometimes billions of nerve cells, quote, literally rupture and set the stage for a chain of other adverse reactions that ultimately lead to irreversible brain damage and more brain swelling, coma, and eventually death. End of quote. Dr. Sidney further explained that the procedure involved the use of specialized equipment to open a large window through the skull, essentially removing almost half the skull, and meticulous dissections from skin to brain were done in order to keep the bleeding veins and release the deadly pressure on the brain. The surgery was a success and the first major step in saving this patient's life. He is on his way to recovery and being managed by a multidisciplinary team of doctors and nurses. Incidentally, this was the first such complex brain surgeries performed at the OKE Hospital since the recent transition from Victoria Hospital. Dr. Sidney and his team have performed many similar procedures at the St. Jude, Victoria and Tapia hospitals over the past 7 years of practice in St. Lucia. And this surgery was made possible by the specialized equipment and medical expertise of Canna Neuroservices, a St. Lucian-based company dedicated to treating patients with diseases of the brain, spine and nerves, and specializing in brain and spine surgery. Dr. Sidney did express his gratitude to God, the management and staff of Canna Neuroservices, as well as the many other nurses, doctors and ancillary staff at the various hospitals who worked tirelessly over the years to provide such unique care in St. Lucia. Quite interesting news and wonderful news there coming from the Owen King EU Hospital. You were seeing that the hospital is finding its place in dealing with the emergencies that arise, health-related emergencies that arise in St. Lucia, and we are very much thankful for that.
Et puis, bien vrai, Jesse, quand nous avons dans bout bon matin, monsieur, ou qu'il savent bonne nouvelle à son l'autre mot parole, là, il pour faire développement avec ça qu'a fait Saint Lucie, ou qu'il savent là, il vient pour l'hôpital Owen King EU. En l'opération, trouvé quoi conducté là, première, en qualité l'opération ça, c'est yon qui involve yon homme 55. L'âge de l'année, et puis il perd connaissance li vini pour un accident il fait, et puis là au cas où il y a ces docteurs qui involvés ensemble, et puis c'est Noslan là, Dr. Sidney il fait l'opération, vous savez Aziz calotte tête li au niveau coupé pour un tuer, et puis il fait l'opération tirer ça au niveau tirer à coude, ça au niveau coude là, et puis à présent monsieur ça trouvé dans condition côté au est stable. ou kay ça fait possible par yon organisation yo kouye Canon New Services service c'est moun ça c'est yo qui responsable qui assisté raison nous calon maintenant ça c'est premier qui jamais fait quand l'hôpital l'a ouvert là l'hôpital ça et puis docteur Sidney te dit bagay marché bien yo teni équipement yo te brisé pour faire ça qui a oui mais c'est bon Dieu dat qui tout bagay marché. Quand là bon mot pour nous bon matin pour savoir date qui nous ça joindre qualité traitement ça ici en Saint Lucia en l'hôpital Neflan Owen King IUA. Merci tellement pour avec à suivre nous continuer par information consti maintenant car continuer ni en bonne journée tout bonnement.
Thanks for that, Carlton. And as we close, a quick roundup of the developments headlining today. The price of diesel and LPG cylinders decrease. We have the update on the water emergency. Efforts are assiduous to try to clean up the dam right now to ensure that we can begin to have water coming through. We heard from the Honorable Prime Minister that there is a progress happening in terms of this major rehabilitation project. So right now, at this time, we have the ticklish situation about the dam, the massive project ongoing at the dam, the fact that the desilting process is heavily dependent on rainfall. So since there hasn't been much rainfall, they're trying to work on this rehab of the facility to ensure we can get to some normalcy in terms of the amount of water we receive. Also NCOPT, we're getting an update on the transport, public transport. 10 individuals can now be on the bus at any one point in time. Of course, a level of flexibility allowed with families. Families can sit together. We hope that is not abused. Other protocols on the public transport still apply. The use of the masks, the open air, the windows being open, and so on. The Bankers Association update on moratoriums. Congratulations being given out from the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Alan Chasney, to Team Unity in St. Kitts and Nevis as they retain power in that country. And 92 Saint Lucians and Dominicans, seasonal agricultural workers that were Canada bound, were successfully processed at the Uranora International Airport. And finally, I hope and encourage you to take a listen to the latest in a series of panel discussions live on NTN, happening on NTN. The COVID-19 Roadmap to Recovery series of panel discussions. And last night live on this station, we had the theme being Investment and Business Opportunities, Part 1. And we just showed you a clip earlier of the president of the Saint Lucia Manufacturers Association speaking on how the manufacturers on island can continue in this new environment that COVID has created. How can they respond to the restrictions that have been emerging from this global pandemic? My name is Jessie Leonce, and wrapping up on behalf of Carlton Cyril and the rest of the production team, it has been so great, wonderful that you could have joined us this morning once again. We hope that you continue to be cautious and vigilant as you go out and come back in on a daily basis. And if you don't have to go out, please stay in. Again, live from the Information Command Center, we do hope you continue to be safe. Until next time, goodbye and enjoy the remainder of your day.